Hello everyone, Josh first back at it again with some more Epic 7. And today we're going to be talking about Rikoris' specialty change. Yes, Captain Rikoris will be coming later today after the maintenance. We're going to be going and comparing Rikoris to Terran Guard first off, because I want you guys to see his stats and how they're pretty much the same exact stats of Terran Guard. Because I've read a lot of people on Reddit, a lot of people on social media, Facebook, stuff like that, complaining about Rikoris' specialty change and how it's not up to their standards or not what they wanted it to be, or they wanted him to be back to where he was pre-nerf and stuff like that. But his continuous healing was a bit broken. Off of his S2 is just a little bit too much, so I can see where they didn't do that. And honestly, his S3, it was probably a little bit lackluster, I will admit that. However, his skill tree is where a majority of his power comes from. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the negatives before the positives as well when we get into all that. But let's just go ahead and compare the stats between him and Terran Guard, because Terran Guard is another unit that is heavily utilized in like Wyvern 11 mostly for hunts, which a lot of you may think, is it really worth investing into a character just for hunt? It is, in fact, 100% worth it, because here's why. 95% of this game, at least, is revolved around gear. Gear, gear, gear. Who has the best gear with the best sub stats, the best main stats, and the best types for the select characters to make them powerful? It's not all about just pulling the character and having good skills. You also need extremely good gear to get the complete potential out of that character. And where do we get most of our gear from? 99% of it is going to be from hunts. And to beat hunt, especially Hunt 11s, you need certain team comps that work well and can get the job done at a high really just very consistent on auto for the most part. Some people do like to play manual, but for a majority of us, we like to do it on auto. So therefore, you need the right team. And Terran Guard is one of the big go-tos for a lot of players because he's easy to get. He's only a 3-star. And he does that first turn defensive break. I'm sorry, the S1 defensive break. And you can do that constantly, allowing your other DPS unit to keep going in and do a lot of damage. So Terran Guard, for a lot of people, is worth investing into, getting to a 5-star with 5 Awakens, or even maybe a 6-star 5 Awakens, or even 6 Awakens. I've seen a lot of people completely go the extra mile and even give him a lot of skill enhancements just for that one role, because what he's doing is allowing you to keep farming a lot of gear to give to everyone else. So he has a lot of longevity for you in the game for progression. So we find ourselves with Rikoris, with his specialty change, possibly filling that same role for the new Dark Hunt that we're getting after the maintenance as well. But let's quickly show you this. So as you can see, we have Terran Guard stats. I'm going to give you a moment to look at it. Okay, and then we're going to go back to Rikoris's. So as you can see, they're literally the same. The only difference is Terran Guard gets an additional 6% on his critical hit chance, but I believe that is because it's from his Awakening, I do believe. Now, Rikoris will be getting the same thing, except it'll be coming as a 5% boost and from his skill tree. So that's the only difference, is Terran Guard gets 1% additional crit hit chance over Rikoris. But that's fine, because Rikoris still has the skill tree on top of all that. So it's still going to be better overall. Their skill multipliers, I believe, are pretty similar in attack damage output as well. So if you guys think Terran Guard was worth investing into for Wyvern 11, then you're probably already thinking that Rikoris is going to be worth investing into, obviously, for the new Dark Hunt 10 and 11, possibly, depending on what the boss does. So now that we're done talking about Terran Guard and the comparisons between Rikoris and him, you've seen his stats. As you can see, Rikoris' stats, a little bit on the low end for attack for a DPSer, that you'd want him to be. And he's not a tank, obviously, and he doesn't fit the role quite as well as a support since his nerf. However, his stats are pretty balanced. He's still, like Terran Guard, hits 15k CP as a 3-star. Now, a lot of people keep looking at his attack at 951 saying, oh, that is extremely low. But you're not understanding one major fact. He's a 3-star, a natural 3-star. He's not even a 4-star who gets additional 3% boost, and he's not a 5-star that gets an additional 6% boost. If you gave him an additional 6% to his attack, that's already at 951, then it's going to look a little bit more like you would want it to be for a high-end DPS, right? Same thing goes for his HP, same thing goes for his defense. It would all be 6% higher, obviously, if he was a natural 5-star, which he's not. But The skill tree is giving him an additional 10% HP and a 10% additional boost to his defense. So his defense and his HP are actually going to look pretty damn good for a 3-star. His attack is still going to be a little bit on the low end for a DPS, and sadly his skill multiplier for damage isn't all that great either. However, he is, I think, the only light unit in the game that actually has a defense break on his S1. Actually, I think he may be the only light unit we have currently in the game that has a defense break at all that I can think of. Maybe I'm incorrect there, but let's go in and take a look at the skill sets here. Alright, so he's got Quick Pierce, which is his S1, has a 35% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns. And also, keep in mind, Terran Guard's defense break is only for 1 turn. It's at a 50% chance, obviously, but it's only for 1 turn. While as his is a 35% chance, so he's losing 15% chance base, but he's gaining an additional defense break turn. So he's gaining 2 turns there instead of 1. His cheer, you know, of course, boosts up ally speed for 2 turns and decreases skill cooldown by 1. So very clutch there. That used to be his really go-to skill, especially when he was pre-nerfed until they nerfed it, obviously. And then Flash Cut, which is going to be changed to, I believe, Supreme Spear with a specialty change, will be the same as it is now, but he's also going to gain a stun on the character with the highest combat readiness. So basically, if you're in PvP and you take your turn, he's going to instantly, as long as the stun goes off, shut down the next unit for your opponent that's getting ready to take their turn, because their highest combat readiness will be the one that's going to get hit with the stun. And he can do a dispel 1 buff of everyone at 100% chance when you give him some skill investment, up to, I believe, +4 on his S3. So you're looking at about, like, I think 9 Mulagoras. And yeah, you're looking at about 9 Mulagoras to get that done. And then if you're wanting to get up to 50% on his S1, you're looking at, it looks like 11 and then 1 Mulagora go. So you're looking at some serious Mulagora investment if you really want to use this character for an all-purpose, you know, just not for that hunt, but also possibly also for PvP as well. And I mean, I guess you could go ahead and go for that skill cooldown on his S2 as well. His S2, I don't feel as important as it used to be because of the nerf. I mean, it'll only bring it down to 5 turns, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like his S1 is going to be the priority here because you're looking to go in and use him for the new hunt. Now, if you're looking to use him for all content, obviously you're going to probably want to invest in all 3 skills because you're going to use S1 mostly. You're going to turn his skills off, use only the S1 on hunt, much similar to what you do with Terran Guard. And then if you're using him in PvP, of course, you're going to want all skills to be pretty well invested into. But so that becomes another issue. But we're here mostly to talk about, is he worth it, especially with the new hunt coming around. So now that we've talked a little bit about his skills, we talked about his stats, let's talk about his usability. So right now, obviously he's got a low ranking because, you know, this isn't the specialty change version, it's just regular Rikoris. So his specialty change, his skill tree, like we've talked about, is bringing 10% defense, 10% HP, which is going to make him a little bit more viable, you know, more survivability, basically. He's getting that stun on his S3 as well, which could help, again, like I said, with maybe the minions or in PvP, but not really the boss fight. What he's going to be getting for the boss fight is going to be mostly out of his S1 on top of the additional up to 20% damage that he can do against dark units. And if they do something similar to like the normal hunt, especially like Wyvern 11, for example, and Rikoris can do an additional 30% damage, that would be a plus 50% boost to Rikoris, who already scales with attack. You'd give him Daydream Joker with high attack using his S1, turn your skills off, so he's only using his S1 in the hunts on auto, and he'll basically be your Terran Guard for dark hunts on Dark Hunt 11. That's if the boss kind of works in a similar way. Well, we still don't know yet. But at the very least, he's going to do 20% more damage regardless because of his skill tree. He's going to be getting an additional, I think it was 5% effectiveness. No, 10% effectiveness, I believe. And then, of course, the 5% skill for his critical hit chance. There we go. So he's definitely going to be doing very well, I'd say, against that boss in particular. I would assume. He also has a 30% chance to do an additional damage when he meets certain requirements, as well as raising his own attack and defense by 20% if his HP falls below 50%. So he has even more damage output depending on, however you build him, how your team comp works, and how much damage he's receiving. So he has a lot of potential damage output that he has to offer for you for the new hunt. And why I keep bringing up the new hunt mostly is because that's what I would feel makes Rikoris worth it. If we weren't getting this new hunt, I would honestly feel that Rikoris was not worth the investment, because you're talking around 3,000 stamina to get all the runes if you don't have a lot of light runes already saved up, to get his specialty change, his skill tree maxed out. You're talking about 250 fee, yeah, that's not even a word, 250 PvP matches to even get him specialty change in the first place. So you're talking about serious time and possibly resource investment to getting Rikoris where you need him to be. So is it worth it? I would say strictly if you want to use him for the new hunt, I think he's going to be amazing. I think for the new hunt, potentially he's going to be one of the better units you can use, because he's going to have that type advantage. He's going to have that additional damage against dark units. He's going to be a light unit with that defense break on his S1 for 2 turns. So I feel like he brings a lot to the table in terms of setting up your other DPS, or like a Luna, for example, within that new hunt system on auto. And I think that alone makes him worth the investment. Now in PvP, if you're ready to commit some more skill ups to him, then I feel like in PvP he's going to be very good as well. He's going to be a hard hitter with a little bit of combat, well, not combat readiness, but cooldowns, as well as giving you that speed up for your team and himself. And he offers you that stun and AoE dispel, which could be great because the new meta is probably going to be immunity. Now that immunity is going to be a thing that you can just grind up at any time, much like the other sets. So speed was the meta before. I feel like immunity is going to be the new meta, so Rikoris might be a perfect counter to that. Rikoris is also going to be good against big, dark units like Moonlight Ken, Shadow Rose, Assassin Cartusia, etc., etc. So he's going to have a lot of value in PvP as well, and he's going to be good on certain Abyss floors and certain other content that has a lot of dark units in it that he could just easily take out. So Rikoris is definitely going to be good. He's not up to that OP level as like a Falcon or Clury. I don't think any other special change really is. I feel like she was kind of like an outlier, and everybody kind of holds her, kind of at the top, and then they try to compare all the other special changes to her, and that's why they get disappointed. I think we need to stop doing that. A lot of people were even kind of calling for Clury to be nerfed, so they may do that in the future. Who knows? But at the end of the day, Rikoris is going to have a role. It's going to be to take on the new hunt. It's going to be in PvP. That's pretty much about it. But honestly, if Terran Guard was worth it to you, then Rikoris will be as well. Honestly, Rikoris might even have a little bit more use to you than Terran Guard, because he's going to be decent in PvP as well, like we just mentioned. So anyways, hope you guys all enjoyed my breakdown. If you agree or disagree with anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Do you guys think he's going to be good? Are you going to invest into him? I plan to do so regardless, because I really don't have a good light unit anyway on the account. So I might as well go and invest into Rikoris, especially since it will help with hunts, and I need a lot of gear from that specific hunt, because I have characters like Celestial Mercedes and Terran Guard that can make use of the Unity set, the Rage set, and immunity is going to be a big thing in PvP and PvE content going forward. So a lot of us are going to be wanting to do that hunt regardless, and Rikoris just feels like a really good unit for that specific role. So anyways, I'm going to catch you guys all later. Hope you all enjoyed. My voice is about to go. Subscribe if you're new as always. Join us in the description below in our Discord, so you can keep the conversation going before and after the videos, and like the video if you did, as always. Until next time, hope you all enjoyed. Peace.